I want to change the tone slightly today. Up until now, I've spoken a lot about the mental side of rebuilding your life, how your mind works, how pressure builds, and how thoughts can spiral if you're not careful. But there's another part of rebuilding that people rarely talk about, the financial side. Because rebuilding your life isn't just emotional, sometimes it's practical too. And money pressure is strange because it doesn't just stay in your bank account. It follows you into your thinking. It sits in the background of your day, quietly calculating, quietly planning ahead, quietly asking the question, is everything going to be okay? When money feels uncertain, your mind never really switches off. Even when you're doing something else, even when you're trying to relax, there's always a small part of your brain running numbers, thinking ahead, working out what needs to be covered, what needs to be avoided, what needs to hold together. And the thing about that pressure is, from the outside, your life can look completely normal. You're still showing up, you're still doing what needs to be done, you're still handling responsibilities, but inside there's this constant awareness that things need to work, that you need to keep things steady, that there might not be much margin for error. And I think that's a side of rebuilding that people don't speak honestly enough about. Because most conversations about money start much further down the road. They start with investing or building wealth or scaling income, but rebuilding financially often starts somewhere much quieter than that. Sometimes it simply starts with trying to move out of survival mode, trying to create enough breathing room that your mind doesn't feel like it's fighting every day. And I'm not talking about this as someone who solved it. I'm talking about someone who's rebuilding too. Because pretending that the financial side of life doesn't affect your thinking or your stress or the weight you carry just wouldn't be honest. When finances feel unstable, it changes how far ahead you can think. It changes the kind of decisions you make. Sometimes it even changes how relaxed you allow yourself to feel, because your brain is always preparing for the next thing. It's always trying to make sure everything will still hold together. But something I've started to realise is that when money pressure is present, your mind can easily start predicting every possible problem, every scenario, every risk. And that makes everything feel heavier than it actually is. So one small thing that I've started doing is separating real financial problems with imagined ones. Because when pressure is there, your brain will invent 10 future problems before breakfast. But most of these problems don't actually exist today. They're just your mind trying to protect you. So sometimes I literally write down the things that actually need attention. The real ones, not the imagined ones, not the what ifs, just the things that are genuinely in front of me right now. And when you do that, something interesting happens. The situation usually feels a little less overwhelming because the list in your head was often bigger than the reality in front of you. And I think that's part of rebuilding that deserves more honesty. Because rebuilding your life isn't just mindset. It's also rebuilding the practical foundation underneath it, slowly and patiently, just one step at a time. Sometimes that means rebuilding confidence, sometimes it means rebuilding stability, and sometimes it means rebuilding financially too. Even that part of the journey just doesn't get spoken about very often. And I want this channel to be honest about that, not from a place of having all the answers, just from the perspective of someone figuring it out as they go along. Because I know I won't be the only person trying to rebuild things step by step. And sometimes just acknowledging that reality makes the weight of it feel a little less lonely. And remember, rebuilding financially isn't about suddenly having everything sorted. It's about slowly creating enough breathing room that your mind doesn't have to fight every day. Please subscribe, stay with me on this journey, and we will work it out together.